There we are. Okay, hello, I'm Mike Pixelblit, and I'll be talking about Telepaint, the teletext paint program we've Fordstone's created, but I had a bit of a part on, and we'll do some painting. I have done another video of it on Stardot. Might do a few more. I'm not sure what I'll paint today, so we'll see. I thought I might paint David Bowie actually, because it was his birthday yesterday, wasn't it? So maybe do a portrait, and we can come back to doing animation another day if you like. Yeah. Do you want me to share my screen and just keep talking? Or?
Yeah, please go ahead, Mike. Share your screen and thanks for taking the time for us. Okay,
no problem, no problem. I'm just going to try and be a bit mindful of not rabbiting on, but you know, if people want to ask me questions, be a bit more quiet this time around than I was the last time. Yeah, just a big shout to Fordstone on the forums, because as you probably will know, without him, none of this would happen. I'm sure you've all read about this Telepaint, but years ago, I wanted to paint in bed with my iPad, and we wrote this other art program, the Mode 2 one that you've all seen, and I thought, could we convert it so we could paint with teletext? And the reason why I started thinking about this, just out of interest, was colour cycling in Mode 2, and I suddenly had this wacky idea and thought, wouldn't it be great if we could colour cycle somehow, or do some animation in Mode 7, and maybe output the Mode 2 stuff at Mode 7, because it's sort of 8 colours, 8 frames. So that's where it started. And then it went into, I want to be able to paint on an iPad. And I think years ago, I was talking to Fordstone about it, and I don't know, we didn't know how we'd do it really, whether we'd have to start again. And I wasn't sure, so I rolled my sleeves up and started it myself in BBC Basic, with help from Richard and Sorrett and a few other people, Julie as well. And so that was how it started. But the chief thing was, I want to be able to use it in bed and wake up in the morning, use my finger, because I might not have a tablet, I've got an iPad. So that's how all this started really. And it's just ballooned into quite a big program now. So anyway, yeah, so feel free to butt in. I might switch the light out for a sec if you don't mind. So it works in BBC Basic for STL. It doesn't quite work fully in BBC Basic for Windows, but it doesn't really matter. But you can sort of run it, but I'm not quite sure on limitations. So there is a current version in the GitHub, and there's a few bugs we've got squishing now. I've only just noticed them the other day, so I'm going to use the older version for now. There's only one bug, but sort of flashing colours. But I'm using version 12. So you basically open the file, the .bbc file, and click play, and up it comes. And you can have up to 40 frames there. You can import an image into it. You can import a sort of tiled image and do some animation. So there's a help screen here, there, but we've gone straight into the program here, and I've got my David Bowie on the other side there. I mean, really, it's like using a teletext editor, I suppose. So I don't know if this would be good for me to just. I think it's quite useful to just watch me paint something in it, really, because you never know what's going to happen with teletext. I think that's what's quite interesting about it. So you've got. I did the other tutorials, but quickly going from right to left, you've got animation frames in the corner there. You've got the auto animate button, which moves on a frame every time you paint. The load and the save here. And these other three are your sort of colouring tools, undo, erase, and redo. And then we'll come to these things as I'm painting. So the first thing we'll do is, if we're going to paint David Bowie, that cool picture of him, you might want to set a background, or you could just paint in black, but I might set a yellow background, maybe with some red, I don't know. So go up to the C here, colour, and you'll set a background. We'll set the foreground colour to be, I don't know. We could set it to be yellow. It might be easier actually to set the background colour to yellow and set the foreground to red, I think, rather than the other way around. We'll come to these things later. It's used for animation as well. I'll be dotting around a bit because I haven't got much time, but this fix thing, if you set some colours down at the side here, your character codes, if fix is on, when you're painting, you won't accidentally write over them, which is quite useful because I'd whiz off the screen and then have to put them back again. So so I set those. I'll click. I can feel myself waffling now. I'll click all frame, and there we are. I'm just going to start painting. So, I mean, the thing about, I'm like Bob Ross here, aren't I? The thing about painting, you just got to keep looking at it, haven't you, really? So, and it's bound to be wrong at the start, as it always is. There's a bit of his hair there. Now, it's quite dotty and pixely, so I might do it with lines. So you go up to the S up there and click on line now. I'm just going to set some quite wild things here, really. I bet you're probably thinking, oh God, he makes it look so easy. So let's just, I know that's what you're thinking, he makes it look so easy, right? I think the thing is with teletext is, like I said, I say to people, I love it to the Mode 2 stuff because it's so unpredictable, and that's what's so cool about it. You just can't. I did that psychedelic guitar the other day, and I was looking at a picture of it on the internet, and there's no way you're going to approximate all those colours. And that's what I love about it. I thought, how am I going to paint that guitar? I do pick pictures from the internet and paint them. Sometime you've seen all my stuff anyway, but quite a lot of new stuff going on. The thing I like about teletext is it's so immediate. It's quick to paint, I find, compared to the Mode 2 stuff. And I think for doing new stuff and punchy things, it's very good because it's you see something, you can just bang it out. All right, so got a bit of David there. I did think his hair was very cool back then, actually, when he had that. So so we're going to save this now. So click on the S, and it saves. I've dropped that BBC file. It's on my desktop somewhere, but I've dropped that BBC file into a folder called Telepaint on my desktop, that .bbc, and when you do a save, I showed this before, but is this it here? It saves in the folders here. So 1534 you can see already it saved 8 frames and David's at the top there. So so that's good. So keep doing that. We'll create the glasses. We'll cheat and just use the circle tool. I think the fun starts when you've got all this out of the way. The fun starts. Just I might undo that. I can see the glasses are probably a little bit. This is where you start the picture, and then you get about 10 minutes into it, think it's all wrong. I'm going to delete it and start again. But yeah, you could import an image if you wanted. If you found, I think you're better off just doing your own thing really when you're painting, and your own personality comes out in it. I think, and give it a go. Don't be, it's just pixels, isn't it? I say that, don't I? But so you can see, I'm just looking at David's nose and the mouth there. I don't really think that looks much like David, but lips are notorious, aren't they, for painting? I might just get the erase tool, E, and erase. I might click on this number to number 5 and erase in a character block. We'll come back to that, but I might go to the pixel tool now with P, 1 pixel, take the erase off, and just, I hate doing lips. And I hate painting people as well, because it invariably, everybody, if you don't get the likeness, I don't know. I mean, already, it's not bad, but the lips are a bit funny there. I could be there for hours trying the lips, but and there's a bit of a bump in the chin there at the bottom. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So it sort of looks like David. I'm not too worried really, because the forehead's a bit smaller, I think. Okay. Now the lips are a problem. I might rub them out. I might not. The glasses are a bit bigger. This is it. You're just making adjustments all the time by looking. So let's make the glasses a bit bigger. Going back to the circle tool. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. He's making it look so easy again. Right. I mean, the thing about teletext is, as Alistair knows, there's only a few pixels, aren't there, really? So I think painting things is a lot easier. You've just got less, and when it comes to like that, it's not bad actually. If I look at it, I don't know whether I should paint the underneath the eye, but we need to give David 2 different coloured eyes as well, don't we? I don't mind that. Let's click save again. It's quite pronounced there. It is like Bob Ross, isn't it? It's teletext Bob Ross, right? Those lips are bothering me. They look too big. Something doesn't look right. So even doing that is a bit better, isn't it? He's got the eyes of a sort of an old man there, I think. There's something not right. The eyes are everything, aren't they? Just a few pixels, just like that Jimi Hendrix picture. I only had about 5 pixels to do his eyes, and I thought, I was there for ages, just with 5 pixels. See, that's a bit more like David's eyes. I think, he's got some bags under his eyes there. It's more like a class in how to paint a face rather than how to use his program. I didn't know what I was thinking. Bed last night. What am I going to paint? One of the things I thought was I'll do a BBC Micro. I'll just keep painting one. I'll do a BBC Micro wallpaper, because I thought I'll put a wallpaper on my computer today for the talk, and I thought there's a lack of. I can't find many BBC Micro wallpapers on the internet. So I did try one. I'll show you after, but I put it on my desktop, and it was so psychedelic and blocky. I thought, no, I can't. I don't think I'll use it. I'll show it you after though. So there we are. So I mean, that's kind of it's not bad that I could go for, sometimes I can go for hours doing these things, but there's something about David's mouth there, though, isn't there, that I think it, just in the corners of the mouth as well. And I think his chin is a little bit bigger there. All right. His lips still are a problem, but all right, we're going to erase the bottom of his chin a bit. Okay. All right, so I might just do that a bit. Okay, I might just do that a bit. It's not bad, but so I'm going to save that. Now I might dither the inside of the face a bit and his eyes. So go to the dither tool, number 1, number 2, that gives you different dithers here. 3, 4. Number 1 is the checkerboard dither. If you click on E, it does the opposite, it erases. So I don't know what's going to happen if I dither his glasses. Whoops, I've got the erase tool on. I think we do need to dither his glasses somehow. And the underneath of his chin a bit. I don't always dither faces. Well, I don't know, it doesn't have to. So there we are. His nostrils. We'll go back to Pixel Tool again. Let's click Save, actually. So that's that. There's a bit of light going on the side of his nose there. And his glasses are, there we are. So, I mean, I can fiddle around with this for a long time, obviously. There we are. The nose is a bit better there, I think, now. So, yeah. And then there's that bump on his lip. So use a bit of dither there. Whoops. Erases on. So undo the U up there. There we go. And then a bit down there. I've got into doing this sort of glitchy stuff. So number 5 for the block tool. I do like this effect and just glitching, like putting some block there and not being too accurate about it. I mean, could even do it a bit down here. Just whack it on. Sort of modern day Tony Hart, isn't it, really? Yeah, so that's not bad. I'll click Save. We won't have time to do the animation today, but I'll make another video on that. It's fine. So I might just erase a bit under there. And then the corner of his eyes, I mean, this is quite difficult where the whites are. I think sometimes I think you have to walk away for 5 minutes, come back and then have a look at it. It more like, to me, he looks more like Ozzy Osbourne, doesn't he? So yeah, I think that's because of the lips. So David Bowie has got very, the lips aren't that pronounced. That I think we could just sort of, I don't know, it's very difficult. You really have to study lips. This is why I don't like painting portraits, because where do you put the black? Where do you leave out? You've got the teeth there. You've got the black of the mouth there. That's more of a David sort of lips, I think. He's got a bit of a frown there as well. I can just see in his face, he's got that sort of almost like he could raise his eyebrow. That cheeky sort of, and he's got his hair, of course, which was very important. So we'll just do a bit there. So it's not too accurate, that, but I mean, 15 minutes, we'll put his glasses in again. Okay, I think in the character of him's there, isn't it? Put his glasses in, and then we might want to use the line tool with the erase being on and just put a few things in there. Okay, so all right, so it's sort of okay. I mean, a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, so I'm not saying I'll be there for hours with it, but I don't know, you have to decide when you're going to stop with this, really, don't you? There we are. So it's not bad, that. So I'm going to save that, and now we can have some fun with it. So we've got a copy of it in case we need to go back to it. I will say, if you click L, it's very handy, but you've got the file selector here. You can load last save, and that I use that a lot because at the moment, to work on the iPad, we've got this Mode 7 file selector. It's quite complicated for Fallstone to try and... We're going to look at if we can get sorting working on this, because you can imagine on my iPad, I've got loads and loads and loads of these folders. On the PC, on the computer, if you start a new BBC Basic, it does create a new folder, but unless, because I've been lazy, but I've got just tons and tons of these folders. So I've got a few. Actually, here, this is what I mean when I'm trying to look for a picture. Anyway, but the thing was, you see, you could use the finger on the iPad, so that's why we had to do that way. Yeah, Fallstone's been amazing and continues to be with this program. And BBC, we couldn't done it without BBC Basic. I mean, just to get it going, I remembered some, and it's quite incredible. I keep thinking about it, but how else would I have got an iPad tablet app? I think, and everyone knows, but we've got. It'd be good if we could find somebody, an expert. I know we've all asked the question, but try and get somebody who knows about this assembler thing, because wouldn't it be cool to have this app and others in the Google Play Store, even for free, so people can just download. I hope you can all still hear me. Right, so there we are. I'm pleased with that now. It's quite chaotic, which is good. We're going to glitch it up a bit now, of course. Well, I leave it just plain. Let's go to town and glitch it like everything else I do. So glitching. Glitching, you can do anything. You select the background color, the B here. Let's go up to the blue tool. Now you can see if you click on the colors, it goes to G, it goes to T. It puts a graphics code or a text code. I do both here. So as long as the background's on, let's do a bit of glitching there. Just drag it down. I'm going to just divert for a second. In the S, there's lots of things in S here. You can write text. In the latest version, you can type text on the keyboard. At the moment, you just have to pick it off. You can select foreground and background. This is very useful. If you want to do a whole column, I forgot this was there, and I asked Fallstone to put it in, but if you've got background there and that's selected, then if you select blue, it would just do that. And then you can put your, go to the F tool, the color tool, and just put a character code, or you could use that other tool there again. You could go to S, foreground, and if you do that, it will put a column down. I quite like that. It's quite funky, isn't it? It's quite weird that. We might have to use that. Another accident that looks good, doesn't it? So, so we'll save that, and then go back to the background tool. I just plonk anything down and see what's going to happen, to be honest. I really do. Whack some greens in, make it look like a bit of video glitch, like I always do. This is what I love about teletext. You haven't got to do anything, have you? And it just instantly looks so hip and cool. Sometimes I do think to myself, at what stage, I mean, is it in anything? I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? At what stage you could just go like that, couldn't you, and say, right, that's art, there we are, that's glitch art, and no one's gonna say think any better or worse of it. I don't know, it's very, very subjective art, isn't it? At what stage you leave your glitch on the teletext and we'll do a straight picture, but I don't know. It's funny. I just say, right, that's it at some point, and you keep going forever. With this, we'll let's put some text. So let's select the let's just save. Let's select the foreground color tool. Let's put some really wacky red text there. Might not try and ruin his eyes, but I'm just going to go to town on this. Look, I love doing stuff like this. It's just like completely destroy the picture, and then so use quite a lot. There's a rectangle tool in there. I'm just going to you got all the teletext codes. Separate graphics is good, isn't it, for this sort of thing? If you select that and then go to F. Sorry, I've got the E selected there for array, so I'm going to take that off. I might, whoops, have I got separate? The S isn't selected there. Make sure that is at the top, and I've got separate graphics there again. That's quite cool. That I quite like that. We could put a bit side down there like that, and then I think I'll do a save. I do think there's too much white in that picture. It's almost like a negative. I think we're going to have to put some blue either on his eyes and make the background. I can't, because even though the effect's quite interesting, I can't really. It's difficult to make out. I don't know. It could end up as a disaster. This. Yeah, it could end up really way out. Actually, it's a bridge too far for me. That I could. I might do that, and I might. I mean, the other thing is that let's put some blue there. Let's just. Wow, that's really. I think David Bowie probably loved that, wouldn't he? The Bowie net. Sort of similar graphics he had. So it's going into the realms of like way out now, which is fine. But let's delete some of the background just to see what happens. So select. You can see it's complete chaotic. I've got no. I could write. Why don't I just write a program that randomly just prints gibberish text characters all over the screen and call it art? Because that's what I'm doing. Let's get the background tool. In fact, I might just do this, all right? Just take out some of that, I think, and go back, and I think, I don't know. It's very subjective, this. It's completely like you. I don't know. I know it might look like I know what I'm doing, and you think, oh, but I don't. You know, you just trying things out and seeing what happens. I think some green there, and we'll. Yeah, it's really. as much as I like the white, it does bother me. I can't make out David's face. That is really way out, isn't it? I mean, wow. I sometimes look at the shading here on the face and think, I'm going to put some really coarse. See, that works quite well. Shading down the side, shading on the side of the cheek, even a bit of blot. I mean, it's really way out, but I quite like that. It's just, I don't know. Modern art. It's in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? I just like that because it breaks the rules, teletext, doesn't it? If you like this, and that even more so on the iPad, if you're using your finger to paint, I mean, gosh, you get some unexpected results because nobody's painted with teletext with their finger before, as far as I know. I quite like using the mouse but it's interesting to paint with teletext. Now, I will come back to that because I've only got 5 minutes now, but I'm posting on Stardot, but in an hour or two as I'm watching the other talks, and we'll see how that develops. But that's pretty way out. So anyway, shall I end the talk? Because we're coming up to 4 o'clock, aren't we? And we'll click save as a BMP there, and I'll work into that a bit more as we're talking. I might be tempted to put a bit of background tool there, maybe for the face, maybe down for the. See, that's very interesting. Down for the side of the neck there. That's really quite far out, really. And then if I select background tool and the erase function, because I've got background selected, I could go around the shape of his hair. I mean, that's just quite way out in that. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Is that all right, everyone? I could go on and on, but shall I switch my light on?
I think Mike, sorry, Simon here.
Hi.
It just from my perspective, it's quite interesting to see. I mean, I'm not a very artistic person. The difference when I draw a cloud or I draw a sheep, the difference is about 4 lines. So it's interesting to see the way that what is effectively a technical tool, how it comes to life in the hands of a person who clearly knows a little bit about art and how to draw, such as yourself. So I think nothing else, it was very interesting just watching your creative process going from the picture of David Bowie to what you've drawn in front of you. We do have a couple of questions, so I'll ask you those questions now, and then I think we'll open it up for just open questions on the video chat. If that's okay with you?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
First one comes from OX Code or Kelvin. He asks, he says, I follow Mike on Stardot and Twitter. He seems to be extremely prolific. And he asks, how many pictures do you make on an average day?
Well, with the teletext stuff, it can just go bonkers. Once I get into it, I mean, everything else has to wait, doesn't it? The weekend. So I'm very chaotic, messy. Everything's very messy here. And with work, I don't know. I could do like 10 or 12 pictures in a weekend, and just keep firing them out. So yeah, but with the teletext stuff, maybe. But sometimes you just draw a blank and you think, I just don't know what to do here, really. So it depends, doesn't it? But it can be. And the animations can take longer. Actually, the animations are interesting because sometimes they're only 1, 2, or 3 frames or 4 frames, and they can be spontaneous, but animation can be fiddly, trying to get things, a horse running. Yeah. So I'd say probably 6 a day for the teletext.
Okay. And I have one other question from Tricky, Richard. He says, do you think it would be good to be able to load a background image that can be toggled or seen through the teletext by making the teletext layer translucent? A bit more of a technical question.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I have discussed this with Fallstone. One thing I'd like to do is to have, if I'm doing animation, to see the previous frame, like onion cell animation, like Dpaint and Autodesk Animator could do. The trouble is, you see, it would with the limit. I'm not saying there's limits of BBC Basic, but we might. The more we add to this, somebody did say that that would be a possibility with overlays and using a different mode. That might be a possibility of tracing image. As for the animation, I'm not sure, but Richard did say we could probably do that. It just, the thing is, we're in pure mode 7 here at the moment, and it makes it easier to work with because you're just working with character codes. So it might be a do that. There is an import. It's not the same thing. There is an import. If I close Telepaint for a second, hopefully my David Bowie's still there, and open it, you can import an image. It will look in your folder here where you'll save folders. If you drop a BMP into there, I think it has to be 640 by 480. You can, I don't know if it will let me do it here. It will import it. So you could, it's because it's a teletext frame, but you could import an image for now. You've got this grid thing here as well, which you can play around with, but if you've got a series of images next to each other, like frames of animation, you can draw a grid over it and it will calculate depending what you've got selected here. It will do a series of frames there. But you could import an image, Tricky, and then just go to frame 2. It's not the same as drawing over it, but you know, I do appreciate for people that you know, if you want to draw, it's being able to import an image is quite easy. But I would encourage people to, I know it's easy for me to say, but have a go at trying to draw something, because I don't know, I think you come, even with the mistakes are more interesting than drawing over something. But I do appreciate, you know, not everyone's I won't say artistically inclined, but give it a go. You know, it's only 70 pixels by however many down, isn't it? Teletext. So have you got any other questions at all?
That's all the the questions that were sent to me. Oh, hold on. No, there is one more in here that's just popped in from, I think this is from Dave, actually. He says, does Mike ever worry about running out of ideas or inspirations for designs?
Definitely, definitely. I think, well, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of, you're safe with sci-fi, aren't you? Sci-fi landscapes, I don't know, I never get bored of looking at them because they're so magical, and they take you away, don't they? And sci-fi is sort of subject where people, I think, I don't want to paint to please people, but a lot of people like sci-fi. It strikes the right balance between, you can abstract it a bit, and you know, lots of people enjoy looking at landscape stuff. But yeah, I think I fell into a bit of a rut with that. So the teletext thing's interesting, it coming along, because now, as you've seen, I mean, obviously the COVID stuff and that, but and the news, but I find it's more going into Banksy territory now, isn't it, really? And I didn't foresee that coming along. But you might well see a break from the drawing. I've mentioned the music, I won't go into it on the talk now, but or you might see something coming along with music and teletext, the next stage of it. But I we'll see. I'm sure I hit a brick wall. I don't know. You can't push it, can you? If you if you don't feel like doing it, then but you can watch a bit of YouTube and see someone running across the screen, think, all right, I'm going to try a bit of animation there of that little clip, and just look at the YouTube and do a very quick, a few frames of it or something. Yeah. I've waffled on, and I promised I wouldn't, didn't I? But
it's not a problem at all. We started a little bit late, so we still have a bit more time. It's not a problem.
Okay.
There's another question also from Dave, actually. He's asking if you could show us some of the BBC Basic SDL code itself, perhaps highlighting the portions where BBC Basic SDL was used to perform something interesting or challenging in the code.
Well, I mean, I to be honest, you'd really have to talk more to Fallstone about it, because I have tried to study the code. It's got now to the point where I don't want to keep putting on Fallstone, but I'm not a coder. I got so far with it. I got to plot a point and choose colours. I won't go down the rabbit hole, but one of the problems I had was the coordinate system of teletext, and trying to work out when I painted something. I think it was when I painted or when I drew a line, my lines went down the screen instead of up, and it was really confusing. You might have read on the forum about this, but how to change that around, because there's a plot command that plots a point, like converts a sort of 1040 by 1280 by 1024, whatever the resolution is, into teletext coordinates. And that was the plot command that does that, wherever we found it, was working in reverse. It was just so Fallstone came along and redid it all. But I mean, you'd have to look through the code here. He's done a lot with arrays here. I think quite interesting at looking how he's actually. Oh look, I think I've come across the point thing, but how he's actually plots a teletext point. I wouldn't say it's unique to SDL here, but how he works all that out with the character code. I don't know. It's got past the point now of me. I'm going to have to. Thing is, I think in the future, maybe if I start getting my head into this, then I won't be doing the art. So I don't know, but at some point, I'm going to have to get my head around taking this over, I think. And the other thing is, I suppose you get not bored of the same thing, but you want to go on to new things. We're quite like that, me and Fallstone. Before you know it, well, we are doing something else. It's really cool that you'll see. There's some good things coming along, but yeah, we'll have a look through the code. It's not too long. It was interesting how he got the frames in, how he did the undo, and he's used lookup tables, I think, in here as well for things. So anyway, I can't comment on it all because he knows. But isn't his code? Look, I mean, he's you can see he's it's not like me. I mean, my code was completely chaotic. Everyone trying to help me. It was awful, and there it is, all nicely laid out. Obviously, he knows what he's doing from the start, and he's organised, and I think that helps. But I do say to him, look, if it, I do bug him, but say, look, if it gets too much, just drop it. And I think the next thing I'm looking to do as a last note is to, I was going to do a fish animation today and have sort of a few frames of a fish and have, say, 4 frames of a fish swimming. It's a bit difficult in Telepaint at the moment. You're getting into more sprites, but I want to draw the 4 frames of the fish, not an angel fish, have it and have that 4 frames repeat over 40 frames, which you can do at the moment. You can draw the 4 frames, you can save them, and then you can create another 40 frames and sort of copy them over. But I want to be able to move that fish as it's swimming its tail and get a hand and do this with some fish food at the top of a tank and have the fish swim up and not have to draw every frame of that, if possible, with its tail swimming. And so the next thing I've written to him yesterday is just to say, maybe we've got I'm sorry, I won't go on, but there is a copy tool in here. You can copy and it goes into paste automatically and you can just paste. But I've said to him, maybe we could paste, maybe we could copy something. It copies 4 frames, you know, around that box. And then, so you've got a man walking on 4 frames, it copies 4 frames, and then we could paste that as we go and it will paste 4 frames over 40. So we could do that, and that might be a doer, because I do think that the actual people really like the animations most. Is quite obvious, especially the ones that don't take any time and you just do them with a little line, like the frog I did the other day, just quick line. And I do look at things, by the way. I'm not like, it's not like lightning out of the sky. I do, you know, I might go to Google and do a search for frog jumping frames and have a look at the frog and just I'm not going to sit there for hours trying to draw the frog correctly. I mean, just bang the idea out in a few frames, draw a few lines, and before you know it, it does look like a frog jumping, you know. So yeah, all right, I won't say any more now because I will just rabbit on for hours.
No problem at all, Mike. Well, we've got a little bit of a conversation, 15 minutes, I think, before the next one. So what we'll do is we'll stop here. And if anyone has some questions, then you're welcome to state them. I hope you're going to hang around for a little while, Mike. And just from my side, thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We'll do another soon, I promise. All right.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I'll stop the screen now.
So if anyone has any live questions for Mike, feel free to unmute yourself, turn on your camera and talk away, please.
I've got a request, Mike.
Oh, yeah, sure, Dominic.
When you, well, first for the forum people, we need a like button because I look at your pictures every day and I want to like respond to them somehow.
Oh, dear, oh.
But the other thing is, could I ask, could you start posting up the actual Mode 7 files?
Yes, they are. They are. When you say, "Oh, I see what you mean," right? Yeah, what of all my pictures?
Yeah, because I'd love to like stick them on SSD and have them like just as a screensaver on my BBC.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they are. I have to go. You can imagine me. They're dotted all over the place. They are .bin files here, all over the place. I've got thousands of them. The trouble is they're not named, which is quite difficult.
That'd probably be even better. I'd a random selection of pictures popping up.
Yeah, I could get all my .bins together and bung them in a file. Normally, Dominic, if you select the one .bin, that's where, if I've done a full image, that's where it would be the one .bin. You know, animations will be these others. So
cool.
Yeah, so I'll gather that up. Yeah, and I just want to say, if anyone's got any suggestions about the program, yeah, we don't hear a lot from people. I do have to post the program in a few other forums. I've not hesitated to yet, but for various reasons. But I will be showing other people. It's a teletext edit. It's not Edit TF or any of the other like Alistair's editor. It is more of a I mean, it will do teletext editing, but it's more of an animation tool, really, isn't it, in a paint package? But I would quite like to see patterns in there, maybe some textures, if that might be quite cool. We'll see. I'm trying to turn the thing into D-Paint Mode 7 all the time. Yeah. That's I think what my agenda is behind the scenes. So
obviously not for your amount of your talents, but for us lesser people, it might be, is it reasonable to use something like Kieran JH's image to mode 7 and then load that in and draw on top of that?
Yeah, yeah, I think you can do that, Tricky, because that generates a .bin file. I think that's right, isn't it? When it generates a file, as well as well, what you could do if you wanted to was export to edit TF. If you could use the .bin file, I'm sure you can, and drop it into one of those folders, the M7 folders.
Pretty sure it makes a PNG, a .bin, and an edit TF URL.
Yeah,
if you ask for them.
If not, you can export from edit TF and drop it into the program, and it does work. That, or I've used Alistair's editor quite a few times, because Alistair's one has got an extra export, I think, which is quite good. I can't remember what it is now under the file menus, but there's a few more in Alistair's one. So ZXNet, the teletext editor. Yeah.
The edit TF doesn't work quite the same as the BBC's chip, though. It follows the spec, not the chip.
I think Alistair's one does do the BBC one. I have used it in the past. Very helpful. So, but we'll look at. I think it'd be a good idea to try and get a sort of import tool, you know, to be able to trace around an image. Even for me, sometimes I like that David Bowie image. I think might have looked a bit better if I could have traced around it initially. You know.
Well, so I was just thinking, for a beginner, if you can like mark out the chin and like a dot in the eyes and the corners of the mouths, then at least you get the proportions somewhere near. You might have half a chance. I wouldn't have any chance.
Oh no, I'm sure once you get stuck in, that's what I think. Do you know, even when I'm doing it, no, I know I do think, oh, you know, this isn't. Is that your David Bowie?
That's my most artistic piece of work.
Well, that's quite good.
That's self-portrait, maybe.
I've
only got worse in the 45 odd years.
That's unlike anything I've seen before. I really like that. That's an original. But there's lots of times when I'm doing this stuff, and it just, I did that Jimi Hendrix picture last night, and started it. I thought, oh, you know, I can't be bothered with this, because I think I spent about an hour on it. But if you keep plugging away, it's looking at something like that. It's like sculpting. You just keep looking at the face, and something comes out. I think when you're looking at things. Yeah, I sound like my old art teacher now at school. But do come out if anyone's got any suggestions, because it's just me and Fallstone all the time, and I think he'd love to hear a few more suggestions from other people, or try and get. I must encourage people to try and make some art with it, even some animations. I'll do another. I did do an animation tutorial on Stardot, but I'll do another one maybe this weekend on the fish one, and that I think people find that quite interesting to watch.
So when are you going to do a self-portrait? Because that's usually the definitive work.
Well, I might have already have done one, Ed, or a few. I think you'll find, Ed, they're already there. Whether they look like me or not is another thing, but I have done a self-portrait. I think someone said it looked like Bob Dylan, which is a nice compliment. But yeah, it's interesting doing self-portraits, because you think you know yourself and your face, don't you? And how you see yourself. I think, especially in teletext, it's. But I did immortalise myself there, so it would be quite good to. I'm going off on tangents, but I don't know whether we could do it. But wouldn't it be good if we had a function that would export? We've talked about in the past, but export the teletext page to one of these cool teletext TFAX or like chunky text like Alistair does. Have a straight save and have a gallery. I think that would be great, because I think people would be more inclined to draw a picture and put one up if we could work out how to do that. I don't know, it might be quite complicated, but that would be nice, wouldn't it, to have a gallery of user pictures, like a CFAX type thing.
I
Yeah.
suspect if I was doing some drawings that you would have a lot of wonderful stick art.
Well, stick art is some of the best, isn't it? Yeah, stick art men. I thought that there was one animation I did which was stick art, wasn't it? It was that guy holding the umbrella. Do you remember that at Christmas, and it's raining, and as he bops up and down the umbrellas, doing this. It was a bit naughty, but I will show it next time. But I didn't show you. It is my other video on Stardot, but drawing animated lines. It's very easy. Just to select the animate tool for like rain. But that was a stick art man, and it was only 4 frames. It was just like this, you know. And I got away with it because people like that simple stuff, don't they? I think. Yeah. So let's see some stick art from you, Ed.
Yeah, I usually do stick art.
Okay. Well, I'll hold you to that.
There's another place you could put the pictures. It is. Have you seen the Matrix teletext server that's available through Richard's Telstar client?
I don't think I have. No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay.
Because I run a teletext to view data server, so his view data client can access my server, which picks up the TFX content.
Right.
And on top of that, because it's just picking up files, I use out of range numbers for local services.
Oh right. Okay. Well, it would be interesting if, I don't know how we'd go about that, if we could.
If you
could we say directly to a page? You know, how could you do that?
I would probably need to convert. If you also can't export to a TTI file, I'd probably need to convert them, which also means the very top line, because that's the header line, and the very bottom line, the 25th line, which is out of range for view data.
Right.
And
if we could save to a TTI file, that might be a do of them. Could we save?
Yeah, then I'd just stick the TTI file up on my server. Pick page number and stick it up on my server.
I see. Okay.
And you have multiple pages on the TTI, and you have a carousel.
Yeah, I mean that even a slow carousel, you can also do a little bit of funky animation, which I've done.
And since my server, you don't have to wait for the page load cycle.
Yeah.
It can have a custom load delay, like 2 seconds.
Well, that would be great. I mean, if we could find a direct route to put pages up from the program straight to the server, that would be really exciting, because imagine that people could do little animations and yeah.
I have to be careful with the security implications.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to maybe not go down that route, but well, I'll have a chat with them about that, because it will be handy.
Yeah, if you can save for TTI, let me have the TTI and I'll stick it on my server.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, that's
your own gallery.
Yeah, that's doable. I mean, there are things to convert to TTI, all these bin files. So I've got quite a lot of them now. So yeah, but yeah. So but yeah, it's always a difficult one whether to not leave BBC Basic, because the more it grows, the more you could go into pure basic with it. But I quite like the whole point for me, as I said, let's stick with BBC Basic for the whole reason I can use it in Android and on an iPad, and I love that. It's incredible.
And no other basic flavors give you teletext.
No, no, I don't think they do. Yeah. To think it was a sort of a pipe dream I had a year or two ago, and thought, no, I'm not. How am I going? You know, paint on the iPad. I did ask a few times, and that's just what's so great about it. the BBC Basic, I could realise my dream of being able to do it. And I think being able to draw on the iPad with teletext is just great. You know.
Richard, I hope you're still listening to this.
Yeah, I can't sing his praises enough. So yeah, maybe one stage down the line. Do you know what? I feel a bit like I want to challenge Apple and say, Apple, we want the teletext app in BBC Basic on the iOS store. Please make it happen, because this is really cool. You know, not that they're going to listen to me, but
they'd probably think, what is this weird
teletext?
They
they think he's bonkers, this bloke, wouldn't they? But yeah, it might be down the line that we're going to. It might be down the line that we're going to combine this with some music and maybe some programming. Maybe I don't know yet. We'll see. Because I'd quite like to do a big epic space Star Citizen type thing in teletext. It's a bit ambitious, I know, and you know, like a Blade Runner type world, and really go to town with it. That with music, and maybe algorithmic generated music as well. Yeah, that sort of thing. So my mind's whirring with it, but I mean, thing is, we've got so far. You know, you have all these ideas and they're quite wacky, but I mean, we've come so far with it already. Why not? Yeah.
Because I don't have an artistic bone in my body, though I did spot a couple of my contributions when you went through the code.
Right. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Well, you've been very helpful as well, I have to say.
I gave you a plotting route. I gave you a plotting route.
That's right. I think if it wasn't,
I think the converting the function to convert the mouse coordinates to the teletext coordinates used by those plots.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realise that was you talking because earlier on, because I only just saw your name and you were very helpful. I don't think if you'd given us that plot would this even have started, Richard's help. And also, I have to say to Julie as well, I don't know if you remember in the post, but when we were talking about me trying to learn coding, and Julie said a very nice thing about, we were, you know, debating, weren't we, healthily, the best way of going about it, because I hadn't got a clue, and you were all very helpful. But that was very interesting, that start of that whole chat about, because I didn't know where to start. I'm not really a programmer, and you all put me on the right path there. So
just to jump in, sorry, just in the interest of time, guys, since we have Alistair who's supposed to start in a couple of minutes. I just want to, Dave, if you're still listening, do you want to stop the recording and start it again, or are you just going to carry on?
I'll stop and log out. I like to keep them all separate, otherwise they're a nightmare to edit.
Okay.
You end up with these giant 5 gig files. I've just put the link to Mike's Twitter feed. I think Dominic commented it'd be nice to be able to click like on his pictures. So I don't know if the new forum upgrade, when we get around to that, might allow that facility. I'm not sure. But anyone with a Twitter account, you can follow my PixelBlit1 as the username. Cool. Right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Mike.